Hello, dear bird of paradise plant lovers. I am Juliet, the founder of My City Plants. On this channel, I share with you my tips and experience to help you to grow happy and healthy plants. Today, please meet Phoebe. Phoebe is a white bird of paradise that outgrew its planter and needs to get a bigger and more spacious outfit. Just to impress you, I'm gonna show you what this girl looked like 3 years ago when it was spotted in this planter. Just look at this. Can you see the difference? It's amazing. It's really, really impressive. I can lift up one of the leaves to give you a better idea how much this plant grew in 3 years. Look at this, guys. Look how tall it got. It's fascinating. Catherine, the owner of Phoebe, is clearly taking great care of this plant. It's clean, it's healthy, and it's strong. All it needs is just a bigger pot, a little bit of trimming and pruning to get it in better shape. After I am done repotting Phoebe, I will answer some of the questions I have received from our viewers and customers about what makes plants like Phoebe happy, how to tell if there is an issue, how to know if the plant is root bound and needs to be repotted, how to choose the right size planter. Also, I will share a tip with you about how to know how much water to use for different size plants and know if you used enough or not enough water. Now I'm just gonna put my gloves on and free Phoebe from its tight pencil skirt. You relax and watch me do it. I am sure I will succeed at it. I'm going to start by using this paper to wrap it around stems to raise the leaves up, to elevate it a little bit so I can have an easy access and start working on Phoebe. For Phoebe, I am using Lechuza Self-Watering Classico 50 planter. This planter is much bigger, as you can see, compared to the planter that she is right now. The new planter is 19-inch in diameter, where this planter is just 12-inch in diameter. If this is your first time watching our videos, I am a big fan of Lechuza self-watering planters. The sub-irrigation system creates perfect environment for plant growth, provides drainage, delivers oxygen to the roots, lowers watering frequency 3 times. If you're curious and you want to learn more about Lechuza self-watering planters, browse through our playlist, Lechuza self-watering planters. I have provided a link to that playlist in the video description. Phoebe is all pruned, trimmed, cleaned up, and dressed up in its new outfit. It took me about an hour to get this girl in this perfect shape, in my opinion. I really hope Catherine would like the way her plant looks now. I have added a lot of supportive sticks because if you remember, guys, the plant was leaning really heavily. Those sticks can be removed in about 6 months once the plant is stabilized, adapts to its planter, and the stems should stay straight up. Now I will tell you how to care for birds of paradise, what makes these plants happy. We'll answer some of your questions about root-bound issues, about different common issues, and we'll tell you how to know how much water to use for different sizes of plants when you're watering them. Let's talk about bird of paradise plants, basic care and needs, and then move to the questions. Overall, birds of paradise are easy plants to grow. They are considered to be fast-growing plants. Phoebe here tripled in her size in 3 years. By the way, guys, did you notice that I have got a new leaf opened up while I was working on this girl? Look at this. Look how big and beautiful this leaf. Bird of paradise needs bright light. It can handle direct sunlight, but it is not necessary to have a direct sun exposure for this plant. I had a plant like this in my home, and it was happily growing by the north-facing window. As long as you put it close to the natural light source and the light is bright enough, the plant will be happy. Just remember, in bright light, plants grow faster. The ideal temperature for bird of paradise plants is between 65 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Important not to put your plant next to radiator or heat air conditioning unit. If you're turning AC off during warm weather when you're not home or travel, please remember to keep the fan on or have windows open at all times because air circulation is very important. Bird of paradise loves humidity. Some leaf splitting is normal even when the plant grows in its native environment. But with the low humidity, the splitting gets more pronounced and the edges of the leaves and the tips are getting dry. Here in New York City, birds of paradise plants struggle the most during winter time when we use indoor heating, which drastically lowers humidity levels. Misting plants daily helps, but it is best to have a humidifier nearby. Birds of paradise need vitamin and minerals just like all plants and just like us people. The best time to feed your plant is spring and summer when it's actively growing. This is my favorite plant food that I use for all the plants. It's made by Good Dirt. You may watch my video about when and how to fertilize plants, and I will provide the link to this video in the description below. Cleaning and trimming is very important for the plant's health overall. Clean your bird of paradise once every 2-3 weeks by simply wiping leaves off dust with a moist paper towel. Dust buildup blocks the light absorption and the plant will struggle. Trimming edges, tips, removing bad leaves will keep your plant looking fresh and beautiful at all times. Pruning is something bird of paradise plant will require. As you saw, I have pruned Phoebe a lot. I did cut back a lot of leaves. Pruning helps you to keep your plant in the desired shape. You can prune it to any width or height you desire. By the way, I have made a separate video about how to prune bird of paradise plants, and I also have included a link to this video for you in the video description. So let's talk about adding support to overgrown and big birds of paradise. You saw me adding these sticks to Phoebe. Now she's absolutely straight, she's supported, she's not leaning forward. These are great, they come in different sizes. I have used the taller one, which is almost 7 feet tall, and the shorter one 4 feet tall. For this plant, they are hardy, lightweight, it can be purchased on Amazon. By the way, I do have a separate video about how to straighten up bird of paradise, and yes, I will provide the link to that video as well. Soil levels very often get overlooked. It is important to keep the soil level up and top it up when the soil level gets too low in order to provide a proper coverage for the roots, add support to the stems, and prevent the soil from drying out too fast. It's very simple and easy thing to do. Overwatering is #1 plant killer. That is why it is very important always Always, always test the soil before you water your plants. For the birds of paradise, the soil should be dry halfway through before the plant gets watered. I would recommend testing the soil once every 7 to 10 days. This will help you to learn your plant's watering needs. Watering frequency depends on the light, temperature, humidity, and air circulation. In warmer temperatures, in brighter light areas, plant will need to be watered more often. For larger plants, for larger birds of paradise, it is not always easy to check the moisture levels to see how dry the soil is on the lower level with our finger, because our fingers are just not long enough to go deep enough. That's why I use, for all my plants, I always use this tool. It's called soil moisture meter. You need just one tool for unlimited amount of plants, and I simply stick the soil moisture meter as deep as possible. You see right now it's really wet. It's all the way in the wet zone, and I would test the soil in a few areas. And if the moisture levels on the meter in 4-5 zone, that's when I water bird of paradise plants. If it's above 4 and 5 reading, I will wait for a few days and test the soil again before watering the plant. If you have any great tips to share with your fellow bird of paradise plant lovers, please write them down in the comments below. Now I will answer some of the questions I received from my viewers and customers. And the question number 1 is drainage important for potted plants? And the answer is yes, yes, and many times yes. Plants that are potted in pots without drainage are at higher risk of being overwatered, which leads into root rot, and as the result, the plant will die. So make sure that your pot has a drainage hole, or pot your plants, and really choose a self-watering planters that do provide drainage. Does pruning bird of paradise plants stop new leaves from growing out? And the answer is no. The new leaves will shoot out between the leaf stem. As you can see here, this new leaf is growing out between this leaf stem and also the stem that was pruned back. And it's happily, strongly growing out and will open up in time. How often do I need to repot bird of paradise plant? Birds of paradise are not slow growers, so on average they need to be repotted once every 2 years. Phoebe lived in her pot for 3 years. If I got my hands on her a year ago, believe me, it would have been so much easier for me and for her to get into the new pot, and I wouldn't have to completely destroy the old pot to get her out. How I can tell if my bird of paradise plant is root bound? If all of a sudden you had to start watering your plant more frequently, if there is no soil between the planter wall and the root system, if the water is running right through like nothing is holding it up, or if you see the roots poking out of the drainage hole, then you know your plant is root bound. How to choose the right size pot for my bird of paradise? When it comes to bird of paradise, they are moisture-loving creatures. I would recommend to select a pot that is 3 to 5 inches wider than the original container and 3 to 5 inches deeper. We do not want to put the plant in a very big pot because all that excess soil, if moisture is not used, stays wet for too long, and that leads to root rot and all other issues. Also, birds of paradise do not mind living in a tighter pot. They will put all their energy into shooting new leaves for you instead of growing more roots. How to know how much water I need to use to water my bird of paradise plant? This is how I do it. I'm going to demonstrate it on this baby bird of paradise potted in 8-inch pot. The way I do it, I look at the pot and I say to myself, all right, how much water will it take to fill up this pot completely? I think the full watering can like this That's exactly what it will take to fill it up. Then I divide this amount in half. So I will get rid of half of this amount of water. All right. And I only use half of this amount. Now, before you water your plant, make sure there are no gaps, spacing between the soil and the planter edge. Push the soil down before you water your plant to make sure there are no openings. Otherwise, the water is just going to simply run all the way down through and the soil is not going to get well saturated. After the soil is pushed, I can start pouring water. It has to be done very slowly. We want to make sure we provide enough time for the soil to absorb the moisture. So I will use half of the divided amount and I slowly pour it around the plant. And then once I used half of this amount, I will stop and I'll wait for a few minutes. I will allow the water to slowly go towards the bottom of the pot. After a few minutes, if I do not see any water coming out at the bottom of the planter, I will continue pouring the rest of the water, and again slowly and watching the bottom of the pot. This tells me I've used enough water. Before I place the plant back in the saucer, I would need to get rid of this water because we do not want our plant to stand in water. So you see my plant got well watered and I did not have to use the whole amount of water. I still have some left in here. After you do it a couple of times, you will know exactly how much water each plant size needs for you to water it. You can also use the same tool I mentioned earlier, soil moisture meter, to make sure that your plant got what it needs. You simply, after you water the plant, you simply stick the meter in and it should go as deep as possible, and it should go all the way to the wet zone after watering. What are the most common signs that my bird of paradise plant is not happy and what it is trying to tell me? So let's start with curling leaves. If your bird of paradise has its leaves curling in, the plant is dehydrated. Adjust your watering. Make sure you test the soil frequently. Use the right amount of water so the water can reach the bottom roots and your plant gets what it needs. Dry edges and heavy splitting is a result of low humidity. Misting is good, as I said earlier, but it is best to have a humidifier near your bird of paradise plant. Weak stems and the lack of the vibrance, the depth of the green color is the result of low light. So move your plant closer to the light source and make sure it gets a nice, good, bright light. Some sun will be much appreciated too. Leaves having a hard time to fully open up, just like this leaf here. This is the result of root bound or lack of nutrients. So check your plant to see if the pot is way too small for it now, and make sure you feed your plant spring and summer when it's actively growing. If your plant is slowly growing where it should really be growing a lot, like at least one leaf once in a while, then you might have a light issue and also lack of nutrients. So make sure your plant gets a good amount of light and feed your plant every spring and summer. Brown spots on leaf, brown soft edges, yellowing, mold, black flies, all this is a sign of plant being overwatered. I strongly recommend for you to watch my video how to save an overwatered plant. The link, of course, in the video description to learn how to deal with this issue and how to manage the problem. I hope you have learned a few things about bird of paradise plant and now know what it takes to make this plant happy. And I really, really hope you'll love Phoebe's new look. I would love to learn your best tips about growing bird of paradise successfully, so please share your tips with me and others in the comments below. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Take care of yourself, take care of your plants. Thank you for watching and have a green day. Hi, it's Juliet from My City Plants. Today I will show you how to prune bird of paradise. The bird of paradise needs pruning when it outgrows its shape. It gets too tall for your space, too wide for your space, or if the plant has some leaf damage from being over-fertilized or sunburn or some past infestation damage. The plant I have here is recovering from spider mites infestation, so there is a lot of damage to the leaves. So I'm going to use this plant to demonstrate to you how to prune your bird of paradise. To properly prune your plant, you need a really sharp scissors or knife. I'm usually using the scissors, but I also will show you how to use the knife on the smaller stems. You will find the link at the video description where you can purchase these tools. This is the best one. I'm using this Victorinox firm for a long time. So let me show you how to prune the plant. I'm going to put the knife here for now. So let's say the plant is getting too tall for your space. So this leaf is way too tall. You want to keep your plant at this height. You simply need to cut the stem where it attaches to the main stem. So you see right here, that goes right wrapping around the main stem. You have to make sure that, again, scissors are very sharp and you have to cut it on the angle. Do not cut it straight line, cut it on the angle. You can do it from the top or from the bottom, whatever works better for you. You simply cut it. After the cut, grab a little bit of soil and just cover the cut. If the tools are not sharp enough, you're gonna bruise the plant. It's not gonna be pretty, but you see, once you cover it, that prevents from any infestation and helps the wound to heal faster. So let's say the guy got way too big for your space and you needed to make it slimmer. You want it to look like it lost a few pounds. Again, let's say this leaf, you see how far it's going compared to other leaves? Same thing, we're gonna follow the stem to where it attaches to the main stem. And we're gonna use the scissors, or let me actually use the knife so I can show you how to use the knife. And again, on the angle, remove the leaf and then use the soil to cover the cut. It's simple like that. You see this? This can be all the dry parts. You can prune this out to make the plant look cleaner. As you can see, the leaf here, that was the spider mite damage. I would like to remove it, this leaf. I would have to cut as close to the soil level as possible. There's a previous cut here. We can cover this with the soil as well. You see this part right here? That's from a previous leaf that was cut out. And again, just to give a plant a much cleaner look, I will remove that leaf again. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, you see the little guy here again, because it's the first leaf. This should be cut at the soil level. If the knife is sharp, believe me, it's like, no, you don't need to put any efforts at all. So now you can see that the plant is shorter. It's not as wide, so that might work for you. If you see that damages on the leaf, this is all spider mite damage. I personally would remove the damaged leaf and allow the new leaves. You see how beautiful and healthy the new leaves are to grow. I would not, it's just aesthetically important for me that the plant looks perfect. So I would, if it would be my plant, I would remove this leaf. And again, we can use the scissors or the knife. We cut it on the angle. We cover the cut with the soil and we let the new leaves to grow and open up and fill up the shape. That's the basic technique how you prune your plant. As you can see, it's very easy and simple to prune bird of paradise. You're not gonna hurt your plant, so don't worry about it. You can prune it. It's good for plant. It makes it healthier and stronger. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel today to watch other videos about plant care, plant decor, plant issues, self-watering planters, and much more. Take care of yourself, take care of your plants. Remember, people make plants happy. Thank you for watching and have a green day. Hi, it's Juliet from My City Plants. Today I'm going to repot this gigantic bird of paradise in self-watering Lechuza Ronda 40 planter. This planter is about 16 inch in diameter and 30 inch height. The plant I have here in 14 inch nursery pot. The challenge for me today is to repot it by myself without any help. I'm not sure if I can do it, but I'll definitely try. Before I put my gloves on and go to work, let me tell you a little bit about this plant. This is Strelitzia Nicolai, also known as white bird of paradise. It's a tropical plant. We received this plant from Florida, that's why it's grown. It's an easygoing plant. It adapts to the city environment. It grows and thrives. It's supposed to flower with the white, beautiful flowers. I've never seen it flower in a city environment. We delivered this plant to thousands of apartments and offices. I've never seen it flower. If you're lucky and you saw this plant bloom, please comment. I would love to hear about it. But for me, it never did. This plant loves bright light, a lot of light, likes humidity. It's a high watering frequency plant because it likes to stay moist just like any tropical plant would. It's active growth during spring and summer. Right now we're in summer, and this plant is happily shooting all the new leaves for us. So now let's go to the next step and get this plant ready and get potted in this beautiful new planter. So here's the tools and materials I'm going to use today for my project. I have my favorite bright green gloves here that make everything I do much more fun. I have a gigantic pump spray bottle, big plant, big bottle. I have a very sharp knife and scissors for cutting off bad leaves and for trimming the edges. I have a wonderful vitamin water for plants. This is a plant food made by good dirt. It's all natural. There are no chemicals. There'll be no root burning. Plants love it. It can be used all year round. It can be used anytime. I will definitely use it after I repot the plant to help its roots to adapt and grow and be stronger and healthier. The same company makes wonderful soil. It's made from the peat moss. It provides aeration. It's very full of nutrients. We'll use this soil for like 3-4 years, and plants are much happier growing in this soil. Perfect for my new plant. Paper towels for cleaning. Gigantic watering can. This plant has a large root system, so I would need to water this plant afterwards, and it will take a lot of water. My last tool, which I cannot live without, is the soil moisture meter. I'll explain a little more to you about this tool when we go into how to care for plant part, but this is what helps me to establish the proper watering routine. So I have everything I need, and I can go on. As I mentioned earlier, I'm repotting this giant bird of paradise in self-watering Ronda 40 Lechuza planter. It needs a little bit of assembly, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna remove this beautiful cover and take the inner pot out. So this is the inner pot, and the self-watering system is sealed consistent in the inner pot. This is the planter cover, and I don't need it right now for the next step. Inside the inner pot, I have all the necessary parts. This is a separator. That's what separates the water reservoir from the plant roots. I'm going to place it inside. I don't know if you can see that. The next thing, we would need to assemble the water level indicator. This is a plastic tube with a little red stick inside that tells you if the reservoir is full or empty. so you know if plant used all the water or it didn't. The way this system is built, it's a wonderful, wonderful system, and we work with lechuza planters for past 8 years exclusively, and I cannot be happier. My plants love it. It looks elegant, it's stylish, the watering frequency is much lower. The way the system is built, it creates perfect environment for the plant growth. It allows the oxygen to go in. It retains the level of moisture. So now I'm putting together water level indicator. There's a red stick that goes inside. I'm attaching it to a floater. And then I'm going to put this at the end of the tube and insert the red stick with the floater inside. That's the cover. And put plastic cap on and insert this into this water level indicator holder. This cap covers the reservoir opening. It's right here. So when you pour the water in the reservoir, the water level indicator, the rate 6 goes up, and then you know the reservoir is full. When it's down, the reservoir is empty. The separator somewhere here, so you have that much space for the water. There is no leakage, it's all sealed, so it's all safe to use. At the bottom of the planter, we're going to put this special sap track. The sap track contains of high quality natural mineral stones. It works like a sponge. It absorbs the moisture, but it also keeps the moisture level even and allows the oxygen to get to the roots. I'm simply gonna just put it at the bottom of the planter. Just like that. So the planter is ready for my plant to go in. Now I can go to the plant, clean its leaves, trim, prune, take it out of the nursery pot and transport it in here. Ready or not, here I come. I'm putting my gloves on and I'm gonna look at this beautiful plant and see what it needs from me. The first thing I will do is to remove all the damaged and yellow leaves. What you see right here, all this yellowing and drying out and bruising, part of it is a part of acclimation. It's a shock after plant is being transported. As I told you guys, it's coming from Florida. Part of it is just a scarring from the wrapping. They were wrapped and they were pushed into the truck. The splits that you see, the splits are normal for this plant. All birds of paradise have some degree of splitting. As you can see here, this is natural, this is bruising, and this is definitely acclimation shock. So first thing I'm gonna do, just remove all the leaves that are definitely beyond being safe, and I know they're not gonna come back. I'm gonna use my sharp knife, and I'm just gonna cut the stem out on the angle, the stem of the leaf, close to the next stem, just to give it a nice and clean. You can also just use a little bit of soil to rub in the fresh cut to stop any issues spreading. This is out. Yeah, that knife is the best way to do it. It also helps me doing this before you repot the plant. It also helps me to see the shape of the plant better, because all plants have the front and the back, and once I remove all the bad leaves, I can see what the plant actually looks like, and it will help me to decide how to pot it in the planter. All right, few more leaves here. Out, this guy is out. Turning it around, see what's on the back. Yeah, I should probably cut this one out too. I'm almost done. And again, this is absolutely normal for the younger lower leaves to really go bad after the transportation. And another time when the acclimation shock happens is that when the season is changing, when we going from hot temperatures indoors using heat to cold air using air conditioning. Some of the leaves also might be affected by the temperature changes. So you see now, plant looks much better. What I need to do is to see which side of the plant looks better, so I know how to. Yeah, you see guys, this side is much flatter and it looks much prettier to me. When it's turned around, the shape looks more balanced, it looks fuller. So with this new baby leaf is about to open up, I think that's the way to go. I'm gonna mark the front of the arrangement so I don't forget just so I know this is my front. The next thing to do is to clean it up, trim it, and once again just to see and check all the leaves and see if anything else needs to be removed. But basically kind of give it a nice good preparation before it goes into its new house. So for the trimming, I will need a sharp set of scissors. The reason why you want to use sharp scissors is that you want to avoid bruising the leaves. So sharper your tools are, less damage to the leaf you'll do. And what I do, all the little ripped parts, I'll just trim them so it looks much nicer and cleaner. Also, as you can see, there is the yellow tips that should be removed as well. There is different ways to do it. Some people like to do it on the angle. It's just a matter of the taste. Some people like to do it in more natural oval shape. It's just a matter of how you like the plant. Like if you do it in oval shape, you have to make sure that this part of the leaf matches, so you would have to give it a little, just like that. I will also cut some ripped parts of the leaf. Oops, my microphone. Let's see if I can use brown tips. I personally just like when plant looks clean, it doesn't have all the damaged parts. It looks more finished to me. It's gonna look happier eventually. There's a little bit of brown tip here, which I'm just gonna. It looks healthier, and browning and drying of the tips is common and normal for this plant. You just need to keep this up regularly. I think my plant, when it comes to trimming, I think it's good. I don't really see any damaged leaves that needs trimming. Of course, after I repot the plant, I will double check everything, but for now it's good. The next thing I will do, I will clean the plant. I'm sure you've noticed all these blue dots and spots. This is what the growers use. It's a part of fertilizer, part of the insect repellent, and the leaves, they spray it all over the greenhouse. And of course, nobody cleans the leaves, but I will. All I need is a paper towel and water. I'm using my super pump spray bottle. You can spray it on the paper towel. You can spray it on the leaf and then just wipe it off. By the way, this is an excellent bottle for misting the plant. As I said, they like humidity, so you can just use this to mist the plant to keep it happy. All right. And you simply wipe off see all this blue? That's from that chemicals that they use. Yeah, a lot of blue. See, now it's clean. It looks so much prettier. When you're washing the leaves, wash top and under the leaves and also wipe the stems down. There is a lot of dust and leftover of all these chemicals and solutions that the greenhouses use to keep the plant healthy and thrive. To get rid of all this blue stain, probably will need like 2-3 more rounds of wash up, but right now it's good. I took care of the top layer of the dust, so I can move to the next step. Everything I've did before was very easy. The challenge comes next. Let's see if I can take out the plant from its nursery pot and move it into its new house. All right, there are a couple of ways to do it. Easy way, you can just take pruners, sharp knife, cut the pot, slice it up in a few areas and just take the plant out. I prefer to take the plant out without working on the pot. Maybe I'm a little bit lazy, or maybe just because I like it that way better. But that's the way I do it, and this is what I'm gonna do now. For me to succeed in my task, I would have to move the plant a little bit higher so I can have a better grip, and I would grab the plant by the few stems and then I'll just knock the planter out. So the plant is out of its ugly and plastic pot, and I have not damaged anything. Success! So the next thing I'll do, I want to remove this soil. It has a lot of chemical fertilizers in it, which I do not really like. The soil I'm using, as I told you guys, it has a lot of nutrients in. It's full of nutrients, and also I'm going to add vitamins to the plant. Right now I just want to remove the soil. I want to check the roots and see if they're all healthy. I loosen up bottom of the roots a little bit. Yeah, they do look healthy to me. Yeah, it's a very good plant. So I'm loosening up the roots to help them to adjust to the new environment better and start drinking water. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm happy. The plant is very healthy. Yeah, look how strong. There is no rot. See, they're very firm, they're light color. So if you see something black, mushy, like it's really juicy, the roots then rotting. So then it's not the good plant to use. All right, I think I'm gonna give it a little nugget to get a little bit more soil, loosen it up a little bit more. All right, where is the front of the plant? I see it's good to have a mark, otherwise I would be lost by now. So this is the front of the plant. I like to keep the water level indicator on the back for the aesthetic purpose. And now I'm gonna make a little bit more space here because I know it goes triangular inside the pot, so I know there's a little less space here. I'm gonna make a little more room. I remove a little more soil on this side of the plant so I can plant it nicely. And I think we're ready to go in. Ta-da! We are in the pot. Perfect. Now I'm gonna add good soil, water the plant, give it another look, trim and cleaning, and I'm almost done. I have the same soil, the good dirt potting mix. In this bag is just commercial packaging. This is what we sell. It's made of the peat moss. It's full of nutrients, great porosity. That's the soil I use. And I wish the camera could let you smell it, but it smells so good. It's natural, the smell of earth. It's just amazing. So that's the soil I'm using for the bird of paradise, and I know this plant is going to be very happy in this soil. I'm just putting the soil around the root ball, and you saw we removed a lot of all the soil with all this chemical fertilizer in it. So this will make the plant roots very happy. You add a little soil around it and you press the soil. If something sticks up, just remove it. You do not have to pack it too tight, but you do have to be pretty firm. Okay, looks like we need a little more. Let me see. I think we are in and pretty good. You have to make sure that the soil is leveled, so when you water the plant, the soil would not run out of the edges. Right now you see I have a lot of soil right here that will create a problem. It's going to like run out and go over the pot, so we don't want that. We just have to make sure it's all leveled and even. And the repotting is completed. Now I will move this plant inner pot into its cover and go to the watering part of it. Voila! Oh, it needs to be straightened up a little. It's leaning. But overall, yeah, looks like I've need to straighten it up. Let me see. Fabulous. Off to the next step. It is very important to water plant after it's being repotted. I'm going to give this moist, loving beauty the whole gallon. You saw how big the root system is, plus the soil that I used to repot it is very dry, so I need to give it a really good soak so the roots can open up and breathe and relax in the new pot. I have a watering can here. It's about 2 gallons, so I have half of water here. I have added a tablespoon of this wonderful vitamin water. It's 1 tablespoon per gallon, so that's exactly what I need. 1 tablespoon per gallon of water, and this is what I'm giving to this plant. Now you have to pour water slowly between the stems, very close to the stems, because if you do it at the edge of the plant, the water is just going to run through and the plant is not going to get any water. You see how dry the soil is? It doesn't really go through, so I have to do it very slowly. I have to pour the water and wait for the soil to absorb the moisture. It will take a little time, but eventually the soil will get saturated and the water will start gravitate towards the bottom of the roots. While the soil is I have to wait a little bit for the water to settle down. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna give the planter a little wiping just to get rid of all this dust. I think it looks spectacular. Now in this planter, the whole arrangement is about 8.5 to 9 feet. If they would be in a regular planter, it would be about 6 feet, so 6.5 to 7. So this planter is wonderful if you want to elevate your plants, make them look taller without getting actually a big plant, because bigger the plant, larger the root system. So sometimes it's not easy to have a space for a large pot. So that's the way to do it. You take a shorter plant, I mean big, but shorter, with a smaller root bulb, and you use it in a tall planter to elevate it. Okay, I can add a little more water here. Drink, baby, drink. Let me go on the other side. Okay, I have to wait a little bit again. So I'll do this part of the pot, and I'll clean up leaves a little bit. You see, there's, even though I gave it a nice wipe all around, there are still those blue dots everywhere. It will take a few rounds to get rid of those. It's actually very important to clean the leaves of the plant at least once every 2-3 weeks, not only to remove the dust, to not block the light absorption of the leaves, but also to prevent any infestation of insects, because when the plant is dusty and dirty, that becomes their favorite breeding ground. So cleaning the leaves top and under once every 2-3 weeks, it's very important. All right, I can add a little more water, and then I think the plant will be ready. It has a beautiful light here in this room. It's a good space for him to adapt and acclimate to the new planter, new soil, new environment. Let's see what's going on here. A little bit more, just a touch. All right, I think we are good here. I don't need my gloves anymore. I don't know about you guys, but I like the way it looks. It's very elegant, it's very stylish, it's very modern. So let me tell you a little bit about how to care for plants when they are potted, and we choose a self-watering planter. The way the system works, for the first 3-4 months, we need to wait for the roots to grow into a new pot, open up, grow a little bit, mature a little bit, get stronger. So for the first 3-4 months, the plant needs to be watered through the soil. Just like I did right now, about 80 ounces. It's a big plant, can be 80 to 95 ounces of water when the soil is dry. Let me grab my tool and I'll tell you the trick that I use. Here we are. So the way I do it, some people prefer to use their finger. I prefer to use the soil moisture meter, and I told you I'm going to tell a little bit more about this tool. So that's my magic tool. What I do once every 7 to 10 days, I take the tool and I test the soil around the plant. You see right now it's completely wet because I just watered it clearly. So I'll test it in a few areas, and when the reading is down to 4 and 5, which is moist but like the lowest of the moist zone, that's when this plant needs to be watered. On average, in the bright light spot, it will probably need to be watered once every 2 weeks. 3-4 months passed, the plant adopted, it loves the new planter, the roots are all grown and happy. We can switch to the self-watering method. Again, you test the soil first. When the soil moisture meter is in the beginning of the moist zone, which is 4 or 5, instead of pouring water through the soil, you will pour water directly into the water reservoir, and you keep pouring water until the red stick goes all the way to the maximum mark. And then You will let the plant drink the water. It will drink as much as it wants to, as fast as it wants to. And then when the red stick is back down to minimum, all it tells me that the reservoir is empty. It does not tell me that I need to water plant right away. It just tells me that the water is all used, but it doesn't mean the soil is dry. So when I see that the reservoir is empty, I'll grab my magic tool and I'll start testing the soil again once every 7 to 10 days. Once the soil moisture level is down to 4 and 5, then I'll refill the reservoir. Using the self-watering method, the watering frequency will change to once every 3 to 4 weeks. That's why it's amazing to have these planters. We use these planters in commercial spaces. People close for holidays, they travel, they go away, residential. Everyone loves it because it gives you freedom. Plant is happy, has control of its water supply. So overall, it's just fantastic. Thank you so much for keeping me company. I managed to complete my challenge with one hit. I took the plant out, I repotted it, I cleaned it, I watered it. It's very happy. I'm happy. I love the way it looks. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, you take care of your plants, and I see you soon. Hi, it's Juliet from My City Plants. I have received a lot of requests from you guys asking me to help you with the bird of paradise that is leaning. So I decided to make this video to show you what can be done so the plant looks again straight and beautiful. There are a few reasons why the plant is leaning. Naturally, plant is leaning towards the light. So if you're not rotating your plant regularly, you will end up having a lopsided plant. If the soil levels are too low, the plant will start to lean. The other reason for the plant to lean if it's a little bit too top heavy and it needs a really good support to keep the head straight. So I will use this plant here. As you can see, it's leaning all to one side to demonstrate you how we can straighten it up. So here are the tools and materials I'm going to use to provide support for the bird of paradise. Simple bamboo sticks, pruners, so I can cut the bamboo stick to the desired length, scissors, and raffia to secure the bamboo stick to the stem. When adding support, we want to make sure it's aesthetically pleasing after we are done. So we're gonna grab the bamboo stick. I recommend cutting one end on a sharp angle with the pruners. So this way it will be much easier to insert the stick in the soil. Since this is the front of the arrangement, I would want to put the stick behind the leaning stem. Let's straighten it up and see where the stick should end up. So I will find the spot here and I will push the bamboo stick inside. If there is too much resistance, find another spot. The stick should go in somewhat smoothly. So the stick is in, and now I know that if I'll attach, if I'll attach the stem to the stick, it will keep this part of the plant straight. And as you can see, it's way too long, as I don't want it to be sticking out. I want the leaves to be the main focus. By using the pruners, so let's say I'm gonna put the raffia here to attach the stem to the stick, so I can cut the bamboo stick right here. Then I'll grab the raffia and again gently move the stick. I will put the raffia. Do not need to be very tight. Don't forget, guys, that the stem is growing, is getting thicker as it grows. So we want to tie it up loosely and again hide the knot on the back. So from the front, it looks much cleaner. And then you just need to cut. So you can see this part is done and it's straight. In time, you should definitely once in a while check on the knot. If it is getting too tight for the plant, you need to put the new raffia around it, or you can maybe just move it up and down to allow the plant to show so it doesn't interfere with the plant growth. So let's take care of the baby on the back. Again, I am going to cut one end of the bamboo stick on a sharp angle so it's easier to go in the soil. I'll move the second stem straight to see where I want it to be. The bamboo stick goes behind since it's leaning towards me here, so the bamboo stick of course should be a little further on the other side, on opposite side. And I'm just gonna push the stick in. I will see where I would want to attach the raffia. I think here would be a good spot so the plant looks clean. And I will simply cut the rest of the bamboo off. Grab another piece of raffia, and again, very gently, just wrap the stem around the bamboo stick twice. Make a knot, not too tight. Yep, and put the knot towards the back. So we have this nice and clean finish. Cut excess raffia. So you can see the stems are all straight. And you'll do the same to the third stem, and then the whole plant will look straight. If the soil level is too low, make sure that you top up the soil. And please don't forget to rotate your plants frequently, at least once every 2-3 weeks. If your plant is relatively new and it's already leaning, this can be simply fixed with soil and your hands. You need to straighten up, you see the stalk is leaning a little bit. You need to straighten up the stalk and then push the soil tight around it. It's the same technique can be used if the reason for the plant leaning is a low level soil. So once you fill up the soil, you can just straighten up each stalk and push the soil around it. I hope this was helpful. And again, guys, don't forget to rotate your plants at least once every 2-3 weeks and keep the soil up to a needed level. You do not want the soil to be way too low. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any important information that will help you to keep your plants happy and healthy. Take care of yourself, take care of your plants. Remember, people make plants happy. Thank you. Have a great day. Hi, it's Juliet from My City Plants. Today I am repotting root-bound bird of paradise in a larger self-watering planter. We sell self-watering lechuza planters in our online shop at mycityplants.com, and we ship planters nationwide. Today I am on the roof of our office building. Lucky for me, the weather is fantastic, so I can make this video here as there is a much more room here than it is in our studio. Repotting this plant is going to be challenging as the plant is really tall, plus it's really glued tight in its pot. Taking it out of a pot for repotting is not going to be easy, but I am up for the challenge and I feel confident I will complete this task today. If this is your first time here, I am the founder of My City Plants. I have been working with plants for more than 20 years. On this channel, I am sharing with you what I have learned about house plants, why we love and use lechuza self-watering plants for our planters, how this planters works, how to treat different plant issues, and how to care for plants, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you do not miss any important information that will help you to have successful green relationship with your plants. This birds of paradise name is Agnes. About 2.5 years ago, she was spotted in Cubico self-watering planter. This planter is 12-inch in diameter. The sub-irrigation system is sealed inside the inner pot, and the planter cover works as a plant stand, which allows us to elevate plants from the floor level. So 2.5 years ago, this girl was about 4 or 5 feet tall, and now she grew up to be 8 or 9 feet, beautiful lady. It grew fast because it was placed in a spot where it received plenty of light, and Suzanne, the owner of the plant, clearly took a great care of this plant, otherwise we would not have it here. I am very happy to help my customer to repot this beautiful plant and using this opportunity to share the process with you. In order to bring the Agnes to our studio, the delivery team had to take the inner pot out of the planter's cover to safely fit the plant inside the truck. They had to put some extra efforts to do that. It was not possible to simply take the inner pot out of the cover. They had to use some tools to cut the planter cover to free up the pot because the plant roots are pushing so hard against the planter's wall. It got deformed, so it was stuck. Well done, team. Now I have the plant here and I can get to work. We have selected Classico 50 Lechuza self-watering planter for Agnes. This planter is 19.5 inches in diameter. This is a low-style planter. We do not want to repot Agnes in a tall planter, as we want to make sure we provide enough room above the plant so it keeps continue growing. This planter, this model, allows us to have an access to the plant's roots. When the plant roots grow and they get too long, too big, they're gonna start poking through the bottom of the inner pot. This will allow us to trim the roots, and trimming the roots, guys, is not harmful to plants, but by being able to trim the roots, the plant can live and thrive in this planter much longer. Also, if you use too much water or watered your plant too soon, the excess water can be easily removed from the cover, just simply emptying out. Besides the planter, here I have some tools that I might need to complete my task. Of course, my favorite gloves, spray bottle with water. I have paper towels, knee pads if I need to kneel. I have some ruffian bamboo sticks if I need to add some support to the heavy stems. I have sharp knife for pruning and sharp scissors for trimming. Overall, Agnes looks pretty good and healthy. Usually I start repotting process with pruning plants, removing some bad leaves and pruning it back into the better, more narrow shape, and then find the front of the arrangement, which helps me to create more balanced and proportional arrangement when I'm done. But because the plant is leaning so heavily, I do not really have a clear picture of how to prune it, what needs to be pruned. So I will do repotting first, and then I will do the pruning, trimming, and cleaning. The plant is leaning mostly because it was probably facing the light source. It was not rotated often enough, but also, of course, because it got so tall and so top heavy. I got my gloves on. I got my knee pads on. Now I can start taking this plant out of the inner pot. It is obvious that I will not be able to just simply take it out. It is so tight in the pot and it pushes against the planter's wall so hard. I would need to use this tool to really cut the plant and the planter and set the plant free. Let's see if my tool is sharp enough. Yep. It works. All right, baby Agnes. You'll be free and in a new pot in no time. This side is done. Going to the other side and repeat the same process. Oh, look at all the roots. Wow. See how tight the roots are here? It's amazing. All right, so I have cut the planter on two sides, and now you see the plant is completely free from the planter. I'm gonna remove everything I can before I pull it out. And now I just have to take oh wow, it really grew this plant. Oops. Okay. Agnes is free. Now I'm going to check on Agnes's roots. I would need to loosen them up a little bit and get the parts of the subrogation system out of the roots as they're now tangled within the roots. Plus, I want to loosen up the roots a little bit to help them to open up faster when they're potted in when the plant is potted in a new planter. Well, that was easy. This part is out. This part is out. So let's see. The roots overall look very healthy. Just trying to lean this girl so it doesn't fall, as I need to get to the bottom of everything that is going on here. Even if it looks rough to you guys, there is no harm to plant. Even if I'll break a couple of roots here and there. I know I see we have just gonna use my scissors to prune some of the roots as I need to get the tray out of the roots. Oh my God, it's so much growing in there. By the way, guys, always make sure that the tools are really well disinfected with alcohol before you cut anything, so we don't spread any bacteria. I'm not sure if I can get the tray out of there. There's the tray. You see this? Yeah. Wow. I will get it out of there little by little. I managed to get smaller parts out and actually managed to get the tray, because you see it was completely inside the root ball. I know it looks kind of messy. It looks worse than it is. Again, the plant will recover even if I had to trim or loosen up some roots. So now the plant is ready to go into its new planter. All Lechuza planters come with a special sap tract. It's called Prune. This sap tract contains of natural minerals. It goes at the bottom of the inner pot. It works as a buffer between the water and the soil. It absorbs the moisture and then slowly releases it to the roots. The subrogation system allows the plant to be in total control of how much water and how fast it wants to drink it. The water reservoir holds enough water to keep your plant hydrated for weeks. Even though the plant is not pruned, I still want to find a better looking side of the plant before I pot it in the planter, as I like the subrogation, this water level indicator, to be situated on the back of the arrangements for this cleaner, more finished look. While I was working on the plant, I really think that this part of the plant is much fuller, and I think that will be the front of our arrangement. Let me get around this girl. So now I added a little bit of soil at the bottom of the planter on top of the pond, and now I'm just gonna simply put the plant inside the pot. Woohoo! All right, I will lean it a little bit backwards because the plant was leaning so much front, so now I'm gonna angle it a little towards the back to straighten it up. Yeah, there is plenty of space for Agnes to grow. And all I have to do now, I know, can you see me? Is to add soil into the pot. The soil that I am using is good dirt soil. We use this product for many years and our plants love it. It's a peat moss based potting mix, and it's filled with all essential nutrients, which will really help Agnes to recover from repotting and root pruning much faster. So let's just go around plant and give it this nutritious soil. I am almost done. All right, baby girl. You are officially potted in a new planter. Now I'm going to put the inner pot inside the cover to complete the potting process. All right. Now it looks finished. After repotting, all plants need to be watered. I'm going to use about 1 gallon of water for this size of the plant. I want to make sure I'm using enough water so it reaches lower roots. Let me grab my watering can. Here it is. And when watering your plants, just don't rush, do it slowly so the soil has a chance to absorb the moisture and the water not just simply running at the bottom of the planter. If you use too much water, don't worry, this planter has drainage and excess water will run into the cover. The way the self-watering system works, for the first 3-4 months, we need to water the plant through the soil. We need to provide some time for the roots to grow, open up, and adjust to its new pot. After 3-4 months, the plant is ready to use the reservoir and be in control of its water intake. Watch my detailed video, How to Water Plants in Lechuza Self-Watering Planters, where I show how to test the soil before watering, when and how to use the self-watering feature. The link to this video is in the video description. Now I'm getting to the fun part. I'm gonna prune the plant, remove all the bad leaves, trim the leaves that are damaged or dry a little bit. I'm gonna use a knife for pruning and I'm gonna use scissors for leaf trimming. I'm gonna start with pruning, so I don't need my scissors now. The first thing I see that the leaf right here is completely yellow, and this can be just simply the result of the plant of being so root bound for so long. I will definitely remove this. Once this leaf is out, I will see if I need to remove any other leaves to balance out and get the plant in a better shape. Let me get to this guy. And again, guys, always sanitize your tools before using. So removing this leaf right here, I'm gonna make a cut on an angle. Yeah, that's it. And I'm going to cover it with the soil, the cut, so it heals better. Yeah, we have this leaf that can go, this leaf right here also dry. I'm gonna clean up those old stems and cut them out. Let me see this leaf. Yep, can go as well. Let me step back and see what's going on. All right, now, since I removed some leaves on this side looks so much fuller, disproportionately not even. So I'm going to remove a couple of leaves on this side as well. I'm gonna clean up this little cut here. And cover it with the soil. There's an old stem cutting here. Okay, let's see. I think I can actually remove this leaf too. Let me step back again. All right, we're looking better already. I am clearly have to use some bamboo stick support. You see how much this plant is leaning, so I'm gonna use some bamboo sticks to straighten it up. But I think I can remove these 2 leaves on the back. So the plant looks like it's been going to the gym for a while and got in a good shape. I think pruning wise, I am done. Now I'm gonna check the leaves and see if any of them need to be trimmed, and I do see some dry edges, some brown edges like this leaf right here. You see it has a little yellow line. I'm just gonna clean it up. Okay. Oh, look. Yeah, the leaf got damaged. It didn't have enough strength to open up, so part of the leaf got caught up. And I think what I'll do, I'll just trim it. I'll just trim this part. I'll try to make it look as natural as possible. It's not going to be easy in this situation, but I'll do my best. And I want to continue and mirror the same shape on the other side so it looks more natural. All right. This is done. Let me see what else is here. There's a little yellow in here. I want to add a few bamboo sticks to support the leaning stalks to straighten them up. I'm gonna cut the bamboo stick on the angle at the bottom. Let me see how much I need to. Okay, I'm gonna find a spot as close to the pot edge as possible. I wanna make sure that I have a good grip. Oh, yep, got it. And see where I need to tie it. Yeah, it's probably good. Then I'm gonna use raffia to attach the leaning stalk to the bamboo stick. I might add another one in front of the stalk because I don't think this bamboo is strong enough to really hold it. Let me see. Yeah, you see, it didn't really do much work. So what I'll do, I'll add another stick in front of it. So this way I'll have two sticks supporting the stem. And again, I'm just gonna cut it on angle, go in front of the leaning stem, find a spot where I can more or less easily get it to the. Is it holding it up? Yeah, I think it's good. Did it do the trick? Not really. So maybe I just need to actually do another one back here. Let's see. No, I can't really go in there. Let me find. Oh, what about here? This is a good spot. Yay! Yeah, that works. I will not be able to completely straighten it up, but at least I'll give Agnes some support. And if Suzanne, if you're watching the video, please rotate your plant, and you can actually put the back side towards the light once you get the plant back, and the light will help to get the plant back into a straight shape. But this will definitely help a little bit. Let me see if I need to add a little bit to this guy. Yeah, maybe I'll just put a stick in front of the middle, because I think it might help a little too. Let's see if my idea works, because as you can see, guys, it is leaning pretty heavily and it's so root bound I can't really find the spot. Yeah, my plant does not work. But what I can do, I can try and push the plant back. Woo! Did that work? It did, right? Much straighter. Yeah, you see, no bamboo sticks really needed, but I'm glad I have this on the back here, because this is the strongest, the thickest stalk out of them all. All right, so now Agnes is repotted, straightened up, stocked up, trimmed up, pruned up, and only one thing I left to do is dust off the leaves and give this plant a refreshing mist. Here's my magic spray bottle. I'm just gonna spray leaves and wipe them off. Good thing that I am pretty tall, so this makes my job so much easier. Now, just final refreshing mist. Voila! I am done. Agnes had a complete makeover and now it looks amazing in her new outfit with her new hairstyle, and she's happy, clean, healthy, and ready to go back home. Check on your plants today to see if any of them need a bigger pot or maybe just a better pot. If I can do it, you can do it. Just put your gloves on and get to it. I guarantee you'll get lots of endorphins during the repotting process and plenty of satisfaction and feeling good once you're done. You can browse through our Lechuza Self-Watering Planters playlist, where you find the videos about different style and sizes of Lechuza planters. We sell self-watering planters in our online shop at mycityplants.com, and we ship them nationwide. If you had any challenges with repotting root-bound plants, please share your story with me in the comments below. Like this video if you did, subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching and have a green day. Hi, it's Juliet. Today we're gonna talk about how to divide bird of paradise plants. Many of you have asked me to make the video about this, and today is the day. Why would we want to divide the plant? If we want to have more arrangements than just one plant and one pot, or if your plant outgrew its planter but you do not have a space for an extra large pot to repot your plant, so the plant can be divided and potted in a few different pots. If this is your first time here, I'm the founder of My City Plants. I am here on this channel sharing tips, tricks, and my experience with you so you can grow healthy and happy plants. Oops. All right, so here I have 3 different size birds of paradise. The smallest plant was in 10-inch nursery pot, the medium-sized plant was in 12-inch nursery pot, and the largest plant was in 14-inch nursery pot. You can see how large and thicker roots are on the larger plant, plus this plant here has 4 stems. So each stem is a separate plant. So there is a separate root system for each stem. Here we only have 2 stems, and you can see that there is more thinner, finer roots, where here we have also 3 stems and roots are not even entwined yet. So I am going to work today and divide the smallest plant and the largest to show you how you can do it. Once I'm done separating plants, I will have 4 different bird of paradise arrangements. How cool is that? I have 11-inch pot here, I have 14-inch pot, I have 12-inch pot, and 8-inch pot. And these are gonna be my new arrangements. I will need very sharp tools to make this happen. This is why I have a big sharp knife, smaller knife, and pair of scissors. And it's very important I have alcohol. We need to disinfect, clean the tools well before cutting any roots to avoid any infection or any other issues. I'm going to start with the smallest plant. There's 3 plants in here. You see the 3 stalks, and they're still pretty young, so it's gonna be very easy to separate them. I'm not gonna need any tools. I can do it with my fingers. Let me just remove the soil to expose the roots and see what we have here. You see how easy it just comes out. So this is plant number 1. Let's see if this is actually 2 plants or the 2 stems growing from the same root system. Yeah, looks like I have, yeah. This is 1 plant with 2 stems. Oh, less work for me. Done, 2 plants. Now let's move to the big guy. That will be, of course, much challenging. It's much more mature plant. There are 4 stalks on this arrangement, and I am sure while they were growing, all the roots are entwined. So it's not going to be easy just pulling them apart. We will need to use the tools to cut them out. So let me just get the soil out first so I can see what I need to work with. You see how thick the roots are, and they're all bundled up here, and there is no spacing in between. So I can't just simply pull it apart as I did with the younger plant. All right, I think I removed enough soil. Let me clean up and I'll be right back. All right, let's clean our tools and get to work. I will start with the smallest stalk. Most likely it'll be easier just to remove by hand because I see that doesn't have a lot of root system, so I will definitely try to remove it first. Yep. Out. No cutting needed. Roots are very healthy. This is my other plant. All right, so let's see what's gonna happen here. You don't have to be afraid to cut the roots. It is not harmful to plant. Yes, it's going to go into a shock after being handled and separated and cut, but it will recover, I guarantee you. So let's try and see if I can do it with one single cut. Okay, this side done. Now I'm gonna move to the other side. Again, guys, very important to use sharp knives. Look. Very good, healthy system. We have all these roots here. Beautiful. Plant number 2 out of this pot. Okay, now we're going into this baby. And of course, it is better to cut between the stems, not this way, but this way, so you don't damage too many roots. Yeah, a cutting bread. You see? When you have good tools, it's all easy. So now it's all out. Of course, I will check the roots to see if there are any mushy, damaged, or if there are any fungus. This plant looks very healthy, so it's all good. The next step will be to pot these plants in their own pot. Okay, I will start potting smaller plant. The plant I have divided earlier. Again, it's a much younger plant. If your pot is not deep enough, you still can prune more roots back. Let me show you. Again, very sharp tool, disinfect it. So let's say this pot is not deep enough for this root ball. You can simply cut roots back. I would not recommend removing more than 20% of the roots. We do not want to shock the plant any further and weaken its system. So you see this way, it is a little shorter and you can use a planter if your planter is not deep enough to give it more space for the roots. I will pot a single stem plant in an 8-inch clay pot and this double stem in a Lechuza self-watering planter. So this planter is 8-inch and this planter is 11-inch, but the inner diameter for potting is only 9-inch. This is a good size for these two plants. So let's start with a smaller baby. By the way, guys, if you want to learn more about Lechuza self-watering planters, you should visit our playlist called Lechuza self-watering planters to see different planter types, to learn how the sub-irrigation system works and how to grow plants in these planters. Next one, double stem. Ta-da! I already have 2 arrangements made. Moving to the big guy. Out of 4 plants that I got out of that 14-inch nursery pot, I will make 2 arrangements with double stems. And I will start making an arrangement in Lechuza self-watering classical planter. It's 14-inch planter, but the actual potting space is 11.5 inches. And again, guys, you can watch a lot of videos about these awesome planters, and I will provide the link in the video description. Let me see which one I should combine together. Maybe I'll do this too. Will this work? Yay! That's pretty. All right. Last 2 stems are going into a cubicle planter. Again, it's a self-watering planter, 12 by 12 inch diameter, but actual potting space is only 11 inches. Again, I'm gonna take the inner pot out and lift the cover. The cover works like a stand, so it allows me to elevate the plant. So it's going to be the highest, the tallest arrangement out of them all. And I can go to potting. What do you think, guys? Look, now I have 4 different arrangements. I'm so happy, it looks beautiful, right? Now, after we tortured the plant a little bit, pruned it, divided and potted, it needs to get a really, really good watering. So I'm gonna start with the little guy. And as I go along, I just want to tell you that plants will go through some level of shock, and the signs of the shock would be some leaf yellowing, maybe some droopiness. Whatever leaves get affected, you can simply cut them. Don't panic, the plant will stabilize with proper love and care, and will start growing new leaves for you. On average, bird of paradise plants need to be repotted once every 2 years. It's considered to be a fast growing plant, so keep it in mind. Don't let it get too root bound. I have recently made a video about how to repot root bound bird of paradise, what this plant needs to grow happy and healthy, what issues you need to look for. So definitely check that video out if you want to learn how to grow this plant successfully. Let me just do another quick watering to make sure the soil is well saturated. To finish it up, I'm gonna give my new plant arrangements and myself a little refreshment of some cool water, just to help them to deal with all these changes. It's so good for your skin. I am done for today. I hope you see how easy it is to divide these gorgeous plants, and I hope you like what I have created over here. So please hit like if you find this video helpful and you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, please use the comments below. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.